There's a kind of AI model that never makes the headlines. It doesn't win the leaderboard races. It doesn't get the big stage demos. But it's the model that actually runs your life. It answers your coding questions at 2 a.m. It schedules your day. It talks to your other apps for you. Think of it as the workhorse. Now compare that to the Frontier class. Those are the models everyone argues about. They cost a fortune to run. They wow you in carefully staged demos, but most people never touch them directly. So here's the thing. While everyone stares at the shiny Frontier models, the real fight is happening one tier down. It's a fight for the workhorse slot, and that fight just got a lot more interesting. Because Google just shipped a new workhorse. It's called Gemini 3.7 Flash. Google calls it their most intelligent workhorse model yet. For coding and for agents, it landed on August 13, 2026. That's just 3 weeks after the last Flash update. So let's break down what actually changed and why the timing matters. First, some context. The Flash line moves fast. Gemini 3.6 Flash landed on July 21, 2026. Google sold that one as more token efficient. But the Flash line is bigger than one model. It's part of a faster iteration strategy. Google isn't doing one giant yearly launch anymore. It ships small updates on purpose all the time. Before 3.6 came the 3.5 series. There was Flashlight and there was Cyber. Flashlight is built for high-throughput tasks. Cyber is a security fine-tune. They all sit in the same bucket. They're the workhorse class. Cheap, fast, good enough for everyday jobs. And Google shipped both of those alongside the 3.6 release, so the whole family moves together. Now there's another lane inside Google. It's called Gemini 3 DeepThink. That landed back in February 2026. It's built for a different job. Long, hard reasoning, not everyday workloads. So Google is running parallel tracks, one for deep thought, one for speed. Flash owns the speed track. Meanwhile, the Frontier class is a different game. That's GPT 5.6 Sol and Claude Fable 5. Those chase the highest benchmark scores. They cost far more to run. They're the poster children. They get the press. The workhorse models get the workloads. Now here's the counterpoint. On the very same day, August 13th, DeepSeek went GA. DeepSeek V4 Pro became generally available. It's the open alternative in this exact same lane. And right after GA, DeepSeek raised its API prices. So the workhorse tier got crowded all at once. And don't forget the day before, Grok 4.6 landed. That's xAI's new model. It came in at $2 in, $6 out per million tokens, and it went live in Cursor right away. So in 48 hours, we got 3 launches: Grok 4.6, DeepSeek V4 Pro, and Gemini 3.7 Flash. The week was crowded. Google ships, DeepSeek ships, Grok ships, prices move. That's the moment we're in. So what does a point release even mean on a 3-week cadence? It means Google isn't waiting for a giant splash. It's shipping small, steady improvements. Google says the gains come from developer feedback and from what it calls algorithmic innovations. That's their wording, not mine. Not a brand new architecture, just smarter training and tuning. The headline benefit is token efficiency. The model does more with fewer tokens, which means lower cost per task, and faster responses, which means cheaper agents at scale. But there's a second claim here. Google calls it more diligent thinking. What does that actually mean? For an agent, thinking is real work. It means multi-step planning. It means chaining tool calls together. It means fewer retries and less manual oversight. So a developer can hand off a task and walk away. That's the whole promise of the agent era. And token efficiency feeds into that because more diligent thinking usually costs more tokens. If you can think harder without burning more tokens, you win. Now, where does a Flash class model actually sit? It sits inside the agent stack. It powers Gemini Spark. That's Google's 24/7 personal agent. It lives inside the Gemini app for Pro and Ultra users in more than 160 countries. It runs Google Antigravity too. That's the agent-first workflow product. And it drives the Gemini API. So this isn't a toy or a demo. It's the model doing the quiet, constant work. And that's why economics matter here. Cost per task. A workhorse lives or dies on those two numbers. Cut the cost, and every single call gets cheaper. Multiply that by 1 billion calls, now you see the point. Now the numbers. Google compares 3.7 Flash directly to 3.6 Flash. On FrontierCode 1.1 main, it scores 43.6%. The old model scored 34.4. That's a jump of over 9 points. On DeepSWE v1.1, it's 65.3 against 49.0. Web Dev Arena ELO went from 1,538 to 1,588. On the GDP.pdf benchmark, 34.0% versus 22.0. And on AutomationBench, 30.4 against 17.0. That last one nearly doubled, so the pattern is clear. Real gains across the board. But here's the honest read. The relative gains look huge. The absolute numbers are still small. 30% on a benchmark still means it fails most of the time, and these numbers are Google reported. Google picked the benchmarks, so keep that in mind before you celebrate. Now the price. It's 75 cents per million input tokens and $3.75 per million output tokens. That's an introductory price. It holds until December 31st, 2026. After that, it doubles. $1.50 for input, $7.50 for output. So the sticker price is temporary. Plan around that. Now here's the contrast. DeepSeek V4 Pro is the open rival. It sits at a fraction of the cost. It ranks number 2 on DeepSWE Bench Verified, at roughly 1/36th of the price. But here's the catch. On agentic coding, it ranked last of 7. So the cheap model is not the best model. It's the cheapest good one. And here's the irony. DeepSeek raised its prices right after GA, while Google launched with a price cut. 2 rivals, 2 directions, same week. So why does this matter? Because intelligence is commoditizing. In the workhorse tier, a good model keeps getting cheaper, and price is now a weapon. Google is undercutting the market, at least until the end of the year, and that deadline matters, December 31st. After that, the price doubles. Here's what that actually means. A task that costs you $10 today costs $20 in January, so there's a clock on the deal. And the smart builders are already doing the math. They're locking in volume now, before the price flips. Then there's the open versus closed question. DeepSeek V4 Pro went GA the same day. It's the open workhorse, and it ships with an MIT-licensed agent harness called DSH. That license matters. MIT means you can build on it freely. No strings, no lock-in. So developers now have 2 roads, a closed, polished model from Google or an open one from DeepSeek. Both got faster this month. Both are fighting over the same budget line, and that's healthy, honestly. It means the workhorse tier keeps improving, whether you pay Google or not. But the bigger story is volume economics. When a workhorse gets cheap, developers change how they build. They stop treating every call as precious. They spin up 10 agents instead of 1. They let the model retry on its own. Cheap intelligence changes the shape of software. That's the quiet part nobody demos, and it's the part that lasts. So here's my honest take. The pros are real. A 3-week cadence means constant progress. The intro price is half off, and the coding and agent gains are meaningful. But there are cons too. The evals are self-reported. The intro pricing expires, and it doubles after December. Plus, on absolute coding numbers, Flash still trails the Frontier by a lot. So what should you watch next? January 1st, 2027. That's when the real price lands. Watch for a Gemini 4 tease, and watch DeepSeek's open harness race. And keep an eye on Grok's next move too. The workhorse lane just got faster and cheaper, for now at least.